Yes, I'm sure.
Is it interesting?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. If you like it, you're gonna make it. Simple as that. Okay, and last time you guys did not tell me. I was not sharing any screen. So if such condition happens, do tell me. Do you see any screen today?
Yes, I see it's in business environment.
You don't see the screen, right? All good. Hmm. Okay, so with your permission, I put our recording on the live YouTube. And let's begin the last but not the least section on the from the business environment domain. Our last section is compliance. So as a project manager, we must comply to the health and safety for the people that we are responsible for. We must ensure that our project activities comply to any organizational processes, policies, procedures. Okay. Third, we should ensure that we also follow governmental and regulatory procedures, uh, compliance requirements, legal requirements. So we don't need any issues from either side, neither from the health and safety or nor from the organizational point of view, okay, against the policies, or we should not also break any compliance to regulatory requirement, legal requirement, governmental requirement. So how we can ensure, remember our basic principle that will govern us is the stewardship. Stewardship is the mindset that I need to take care. I need to be responsible for the people who I am leading, right? And stewardship, as I remember, I told you guys that it goes beyond the project and the project activities. It goes beyond the human. It goes to plants, environment. It goes to anything living, non-living. So our project work should not create any waste which is not properly disposed, you know. So we should also take care of disposal of the waste so that it should not contaminate any water, any live field, grassy field, or any. It should not create any hindrance to the public or the pedestrian. Wherever we do the work, we should follow certain regulations. Make sense?
Yes,
Right, Abel?
yes, makes sense.
Hmm. So when we are making sure that the work is compliant with the organizational policies, regulatory requirements, compliance, legal, everything, governmental requirement, we need to ensure that either internal nor external, like the work that you have also given to the vendors, suppliers to get done, you should also monitor that. The compliance should be according to, is it according to our contractual procedures? Are they following the contracts, right? Because you might have subcontracted a piece of work, right? And then there is a written contract between you and the subcontractor or the contractor, right? So are they compliant with the contractual requirements or not? Make sense?
Yes,
Yeah. So as I said, that compliance requirement may include our governmental, our legal requirements. Then it comes to, when it comes to projects such as IT projects that we are abide by data protection, data privacy laws such as GDPR and many other um, PCI compliant if we are dealing with the card related details, if our project has some integration with the banking systems and we are communicating between two systems, the information such as card number, card details, card pins, and anything, right? Then we should be PCI compliant, right? We should not share the data about the customer account without hashing it or without crypting it, right? You know, cryptography,
Cryptography, no, I don't know about that.
we just need to encrypt it so that it should not be understood. While we are transmitting the data, it should not be understood that what we are sharing. It should not be understood. So we need to hash it. We need to use some algorithm that changes the literal wording and it transforms it to into a code. And then there is a decoder that uses decoding mechanism to decode that information so that the information, while it is encoded and it is transmitted, it should not be understood by the medium, by anyone who is listening on the medium, right? Who is watching the medium. So information has to be securely transferred if it is related to personal information of customer between two systems. Now, compliance, as we've been talking for a while, is about not about only people, it is about also environmental risks that you might have introduced as part of your project activities, your people, health, and safety. What else? You need to also comply some ethical requirements, right? So you should avoid uh, indulging into conflict of interest, like you are avoiding the disclosure of this is a conflict of interest and this is not ethical. And if you see certain gifts are being exchanged between the vendors and your suppliers and contractors, and they are like bribing you with heavy gifts, you should refuse to accept because the gift to a certain amount, like let's say a meal, a meal, is acceptable, but a fancy meal is not. I mean, we also have some ethics when it comes to, you know, accepting the gifts. We should be able to reject the gift if it is expensive, right? So organizations may have a policy to accept a gift up to, let's say, 50 rupees, 50 real, $50, but not more than that, maybe $20, not more than that. So it all depends. Don't take it like a rule of thumb, but maybe each organization has their own policy. But yeah, we need to ensure some policies are there. So compliance also has to be to the requirements. So let's say if we have captured a healthy document about, like we have captured properly requirements, what is definition of done, user stories are completely elaborated, explained, then while we ensure we develop those stories, we need to ensure that we follow what is the requirement, what is the definition of them. So that quality need to be maintained so that we should not have quality related issues later. And more often, we see that there are processes which are not followed. So what will happen? Any uh, thing can go wrong. If the standard process is not followed, then we might not get the correct results. So we need to be process compliant, right? Process compliant means, let's say you are approached by someone who is who wants to, let's say, supply his services or products to your project, but uh, they are approaching you through direct means, right? So you should guide them, direct them to the proper process, which is vendor selection process, your procurement team, tendering process. So you should not entertain people approaching you directly as the PM, as you are the PM, you are the decision maker, but you should not entertain people approaching you directly, right? They should come by the equal opportunity channel. Any question? So when you have raised RFPs, requests for proposals, you will see,
mm,
you will receive some proposals, and the proposals might not be compliant to full requirements. So let's say you want a solution, for example, project management software, and you have 100 of requirements. And then you raise the RFP and you ask the vendors to propose you their product. And if they propose their product, they will create one list of features that they partially comply, or they don't comply. So you will need to ensure that you select those suppliers, those solutions which are mostly compliant with the requirements, right? So you need to make sure that the solution which is proposed is compliant with the needs of your project. Okay. So what are the threats to compliance and how we can investigate? So we must take the guidance from our organizational compliance department, or we must consult our organizational quality policy, which actually is the all the steps needed to be taken to ensure that we are fully compliant with the organization, processes, policies, procedures, and any other regulatory compliant, such as data protection, work and safety related compliance, and also ethics, ethical compliant, right? So what are our objectives of the project? One of the objective of the project should be that we need to be compliant. So when we say we need to finish it on time, we need to finish it within the budget, and we need to finish it within the a desired quality level. We should also make sure that we finish the project by staying within the compliant to all the organizational policies, all the governmental regulatory policies, health and safety policies, right? And health and safety risks should be avoided of any kind to uh, risks such as loss of life. Uh, these are critical risks. These are should be at every cost avoided, and there should be zero tolerance for these kind of risks, right? So compliance should be one of your project objective, and how you can ensure that you are fully compliant is that you already follow, while you are already following the organizational processes, you do your audit more often. You check if anything is against the process, that should be pinpointed and highlighted and brought in front of the right audience to be corrected. So that we can continuously validate that legal and regulatory compliance is being followed. And once we treat compliance as project objective, we will also maintain, just like we maintain our scope requirements, we will maintain our compliance requirements, and all these compliance related risks will be treated in a compliance register. And where all the risks will be identified, mitigations will be put in place, proper owner will be assigned so that we can make sure that we are fully compliant. How we can ensure that we are compliant? What are the best practices? Always document everything. So you need to make sure that documentation is done at every cost, so that what is happening, what has happened, what is the plan, everything is written in black and white. Risks are mitigated, properly identified, properly risk response is prepared and responders are assigned. Make sense? Hi, Kamar.
Yes,
How are you? You are still on mute. Okay. So we say document everything, document. Uh, any site related incident, any project related incident, as soon as it happens, you need to document. Also, just like your compliance register, your risk register, everything, every risk which is identified or should not be left unattended. We should also prepare a mitigation around it. We should prepare sign in honor of this risk, and we should make sure that the mitigation action is taken. Someone has taken ownership of it, or we have fully mitigated the risk, or at least we transferred the risk. Some proactive action has been taken so that we can be at peace that yes, there is a risk of uh, working at height, but we have mitigated it through proper scaffolding or proper ladder is in place and proper training is given, uh, safety waste is provided so that we have fully covered any risk related to falling from a height, just as an example.
mm,
Some internal or external auditors should be engaged so that they time to time inspect our work, our process, our procedures to make sure that we are compliant with the standards that organization is using. We can ask for a formal compliance audit. Uh, However, in order to ensure compliance, it's everyone's responsibility. It's not one person. Hmm. So tell me about any work or uh, safety related compliance that you have seen on your projects, Abel. How do you ensure that you are compliant with this safety while you are at work?
yeah, we, on waste management,
Yeah.
we have ensured that according to the governmental system of the UAE,
Uh-huh.
we have ensured the waste that we have been that are being produced from the site that are they are recycled, that are kept in a segregated place, and then are recycled with on time
All
to make
right.
sure that we collect all the waste that are being produced from the site, different ways. We put them on different locations,
I
assign
got it.
and segregate them to make sure that people don't mix waste. There are some waste that are more dangerous than the other. So we do the segregation of waste and we do recycle them.
Mm,
And
got
from
it.
where I'm working, that's the rules and regulation of the government. I used to visit the site also to ensure that this thing is well managed.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Okay. So what else we can do is that we can always consult our organizational quality policy to find
Mm.
out what shall we do? What's the best practice? What is the step? What are the steps that we need to take in order to make sure that we are continuously compliant? You want to
Mm.
add anything, Kamar?
To ensure that we are compliant with the quality or policies or maybe the safety measures, we have to do the
We are
regular
fully compliant. Yeah.
follow-up checkup maybe. That one part is we have to do and continuously, regularly, we have to check that either our team or the site or the project site is being followed as per the prescribed instructions and the safety templates are being followed. This is first of all. Then that there is a surprise visit that to make ensure that the things are being followed without informing the site people or maybe the project team. So the surprise
Yeah.
visits can also be the part of
True.
this
True.
activity. And other than that, definitely there is a compliance audit always. There should be periodically a compliance audit to ensure that everything is being properly monitored or maybe being followed according to the laws and regulations. And other than that, to check the logbook or the incidents report that happened and how much the management or the responsible people took the actions or maybe how they improved that situation, and even after the incident what steps taken to ensure that. So these kind of things can help us that we are actually ensuring the compliance related to if it is belong to safety measures or if it belong to the documentation part or if it belong to the government's requirements. So whatever the area we are looking for, so these may be the things can help us to ensure that there is a compliance and
Yeah.
there is a proper
Yeah.
reporting structure available to do all these things.
Yes. 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 So the purpose of quality policy is to make sure that if it is a construction project, then all the activities and the work and the deliverables, everything is fully compliant with the regulatory requirements. So that's what we intend with the quality policy in place. We show our intention that we want to make sure that we are fully compliant throughout this project duration, that even our deliverables are meeting, if not only meeting, but exceeding the compliant requirements. So yeah, that's true. So we have covered few of our objectives from the compliance, and this is the end of the lesson one. But as I said in the beginning, that today is the opportunity that I will teach you that how we can make our own quizzes, and we can also make sure that what we covered is understood. Okay, so we'll do it for
Mm.
together with the help of ChatGPT. We are going to understand today how we can create our own quizzes, and we'll do it for the business environment domain. Give me a moment. Although business environment domain is only 8% of your exam, which means 14 questions will come from the business environment domain, not many. So I will take the key areas which I believe are primarily coming in the exam. One of them is actually compliance. So let's go to compliance because compliance is very important from project perspective and exam perspective. So let's do something. Okay. So let's say if this is the text that we want to make sure that we understood, we are going to write it in double quotes. What we need to tell to ChatGPT is the following, which I already have, that I need you to become an instructor and ask me situational quizzes one by one until the knowledge sinks in on the following. Okay, so we will ask this question to ChatGPT and it will make us a quiz. Oh, no, we didn't tell that make a quiz with each with questions having 4 options to choose a correct answer. No, one by one, please. So it started asking all the questions all together. No problem. So you have the access available to ChatGPT?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but always remember to give some context to ChatGPT to create the questions from. Otherwise, it will not be related to your PMP exam. And yeah. All right, let's see. What is the scenario? So, read Kamal.
You are a project manager for a product development project and a tech company. The government has recently introduced new data privacy regulations that your product must comply with. You also have to ensure that your project adhere to company internal security policies as well. The question is what step you will take to ensure compliance of both government regulations and corporate policies throughout your project lifecycle. Focus solely on the meeting of government regulations, assuming internal policy will naturally be covered. Assign dedicated compliance officer to monitor regulations and policies, ensuring compliance throughout the project. Conduct one-time compliance review at start of the project and not revisit it until the issue arises. Develop a comprehensive compliance plan, conduct a regular audit, and include compliance check and project milestone.
What do you think, guys?
Actually, we are developing the new product, so I think we are at a beginning stage. So instead of reaching to a straight away comprehensive plan, like as mentioned in the D option, I think better we should assign a dedicated compliance officer who should look over throughout the project, even so the development stages, maybe all these specification. So I think I will go with the option B.
We are creating new product, but it doesn't mean that we just started to create it. There is no mention, as I can see in the question. Maybe if I'm missing something, scenario is you are PM of a new product development project in a tech company. Because it's a new product, definitely every project results in a new product. The government has recently introduced a new data privacy regulation. So my point is that what is the difference between option B and option D? Don't you think D should be an answer?
Actually, along with the project development, definitely there should be a plan as well. Because there is also a need of comprehensive plan that covers all the area, including regular audits, compliance check
Yeah.
with
Now,
each.
new regulation came in, right? So we need to
Yeah.
ensure that we prepare a plan for it, how we give awareness for it, how we ensure that
That also appeal actually. That is also I think acceptable instead of B. D I think also more relevant as well. If there is a proper plan available to go with all this project
yeah,
process.
one reason why B could be an answer, which I think is that this answer B is covering all the aspects. Like it is a general, the scope is very broad. It is saying assign a dedicated compliance officer who should monitor regulations, policies, and ensure compliance throughout the project. Right? So there's a tight competition between B and D.
Yeah.
Uh,
Actually, B can also be at that stage, like for example, something like to ensure how that compliance can be done. Like we have developed some of the project, maybe at the end of the project, how to make sure that that compliance will be continuously be implemented over the life of the project or life of the product as well. So maybe that we need a dedicated team or the people to ensure over the life of the project that things are as per the policy or compliance. But that is B can be in that scenario as well. Like just I'm saying.
yeah. So the answer you want me to say is
D,
B,
D.
and let's
For
see.
me, it's a D. Like now, it's D for me.
Okay, so let's see what is the answer. Abel, Abel, what do you think? A, B, C, or D?
Uh, I go with B because it has it's a
D for
general
ball or D for doll?
B
D
B
B
for
for
dog.
ball.
for baby, right?
Yes.
Okay. So correct answer is D. And the reason is, let's look at the reason.
D.
Hmm. We may or we may not agree. ChatGPT, remember, may be right or may be wrong. Okay. So just use common sense. So developing a comprehensive plan, conducting regular audits, and including compliance checks at the key project milestones. Okay. Assigning an officer is a good step, but ensuring compliance throughout the project lifecycle requires a comprehensive approach, including a plan, regular audits, and milestone checks. Make sense? Agree, Kamar? Agree, Abel?
Yes. I agree.
All right. Now let's read the question scenario 2. You are project manager, no, and you're component of your project. The vendor must comply with your organizational procurement policies and quality standards. How would you ensure the vendor meets these compliance requirements? Hmm? And okay, the option A, trust the vendor's word and proceed without further verification. Okay. B, include detailed compliance requirements in the contract and conduct regular audits of the vendor processes and deliverables. Makes good sense. Review the vendor's compliance only at the final delivery stage. Why at the end? Allow the vendor to follow their own compliance standards as they are experts in their field. Hmm.
No.
So
No.
if I
We
Only
can
need to
one thing
use,
actually. I will be
we
listening
can
for
give
next 20 minutes. Maybe I will not be able to participate
no
because
problem. You can be back. We are here. We are not going
no,
anywhere.
I will be only listening. So maybe I
Okay,
will
no
not be able
problem.
to speak.
No, no problem. You can go
Okay.
on mute mode. Okay, so Abel, what is your choice of answer?
B cannot be the answer, and then C cannot be the answer as well, because the vendor's word and proceed without further verification. A cannot be the answer. Include detailed compliance requirements in the contract and conduct regular audit of the vendor's processes and delivery. This is okay for me.
B is okay, right? I also think B is okay. Good. We are correct. Hmm. Your PMO department is responsible for monitoring compliance at organization level, while your project team is responsible for project activity related to compliance. How can you ensure effective compliance monitoring by both the PMO and your project team? Hmm. A. The PMO should handle all compliance monitoring and the project team should focus only on project tasks. The project team should handle all compliance monitoring and PMO should not interfere. C. Establish a clear communication and reporting process between PMO and project team with regular compliance reviews and updates. D. Only involve the PMO in compliance issues if a significant problem arises. Wow. So, what should be your answer? What will be your answer?
Establish a clear communication and reporting process between the PMO and project team with regular compliance review and updates. I think C, I will go with C.
Yeah,
I will go with C.
you think A is the answer?
No, that one is the answer.
B is the answer?
Yes, it's C. C is the answer.
B is the answer. The project team should handle all compliance monitoring and PMO should not interfere. Hmm.
No,
However,
establish clear communication.
so what is your reasoning for B as the answer? Why do you think
No,
B is an answer?
I said C. I said C.
You said C.
C. Establish a clear communication and reporting process between the.
Ah, you are correct. You are correct. You are correct. Cool. You are correct. Okay, your project is coming to end and you need to ensure the quality of final deliverables meet both internal and external standards. What approach should you take to ensure quality compliance? Perform quality check only after the project is completed. B. Integrate quality assurance processes throughout project lifecycle and conduct a final quality audit before project closure. C. Rely on the project team experience and skip formal quality check. D. Delegate quality assurance to an external auditor and focus on the other aspects of the project. What do you think?
I will go with B.
You will go with B and your B is right. Very good. I am happy. Great job. Let's go back to hold on. Close. Okay, let's go back to our presentation and we generate more questions such as this is redo on the following. Okay, but you got the idea, right? How you will generate the question, right?
Not clearly.
Not clearly? I'll give you the prompt. Okay,
Okay.
then it will be easy.
Okay. Yes.
You already have the access to the material. So this makes sense actually, because what we learn by asking questions to ourselves is far better than what we continuously to read, right?
Hmm.
So now I added many slides all together and let's see the result. You are managing a project in a pharmaceutical industry. Oh. One by one, please. Sometimes it go crazy. So you are managing a project in pharmaceutical industry, which is highly regulated. You need to ensure compliance with legal and regulatory constraints, including specific practices and standards and policies and privacy laws related to sensitive information. Which of the following steps should you take to ensure compliance throughout the project? Focus only on the most critical regulatory requirements, as addressing all might delay the project. Tailor the compliance processes to project needs. Ensure adequate processes or adequate process rigor and quality control is there. Delegate compliance responsibilities to the team and assume they will handle on it their own. Ignore compliance requirements and address them only when the issue will arise. Clearly, D is not the option, right?
Yeah, D is not the option, and the A also is not the option.
Yeah. And I would say C also is not an answer, right?
Delegate compliance responsibility to the team and assume they have no, it's not the answer.
Makes sense, right? It doesn't make sense also to delegate everything and then let them handle it on their own, right?
Yeah, it
So the
doesn't make
only
sense.
option that is remaining, either it is
It's B.
B, which is tailor the compliance processes to the project needs and ensure there is adequate process rigor and control, or you delegate it to your team and you assume they will handle it. No, assumption is not a strategy, right?
Yes. No.
So I would say, what would you say?
Sorry?
What is your answer?
B, B.
B makes sense here. Correct. Your project involves implementing new software in healthcare organization. The software must adhere to strict privacy laws and standards for handling sensitive information. What is the best approach to ensure software complies with these requirements? A. Review the privacy laws at the start of the project and assume no further change will be needed. Na. Continuously validate the software against privacy laws and standards throughout the project lifecycle. Could be focus on the meeting privacy requirements only during the final testing stage. Rely on software vendors to ensure compliance without independent verification. So, what is not an answer?
B and C are not the answer.
Yeah. So the only option remaining, which is to the point, is
For A and B, review the privacy law at the start of the project and assume no further changes
yeah.
are needed.
So
Uh,
assuming assumptions are the risks, source of risk, right? So we cannot leave it to assumption. True?
yes,
This is, I have an objection with this. Assume no further changes are needed. Why?
yes,
So what should be our answer?
the B should go with the answer.
B should be our answer. Makes sense. Correct. All right. In our organization, compliance with workforce, health and safety, environmental risk, ethical practice, social responsibility, and quality are crucial. How should you categorize and manage these compliance requirements? A. Treat all compliance categories equal without prioritizing. B. Prioritize compliance categories based on the industry, solution scope, and unique legal and regulatory exposure. C. Focus only on the workforce compliance categories. D. Prioritize compliance categories based on the industry, solution scope, and unique legal and regulatory exposure. E. Focus only on the workforce compliance categories based on the industry, solution scope, and unique legal and regulatory exposure. G. Focus only on the workforce compliance categories based on the industry, solution scope, and unique legal and regulatory exposure. reinforce health and safety as it is the risks, as they are typically less impactful on projects. So what will you eliminate?
C and D, I will eliminate.
Hmm? You will eliminate D, right?
Yeah, and C also.
Okay. And you will eliminate, what else you will eliminate? A?
So, treat all
A is
complaints
quite relevant, right? A could be an answer, right?
yeah, because you can treat all complaints category equally without prioritizing.
All
But in some
compliance
case,
need,
sometimes
yeah, all compliance do need attention, but sometimes, I mean, there are priorities, right?
yes, some that
Definitely.
for the one. Yeah, definitely we
Yeah,
prioritize one over
yeah,
the
that
other.
should be our answer. You are right. Correct.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So you need to investigate compliance requirements for your project. What are the key areas you should focus on during your investigation? Identify who in the organization handles compliance and understand the legal and regulatory requirements that impact the organization. Focus on quality policy of the organization. Ensure only project team is aware of the compliance matters. Delegate the investigation to an external consultant and avoid internal discussion. So D cannot be an answer, right?
Yes, D cannot
Yeah.
be, and so only the project team. D also cannot be the answer.
Yeah.
Focus solely on the quality. B also cannot be the answer. So we are left only with option A.
Well, I can say, I can say A and B, there is quite contention between A and B, right?
Mm.
What do you think? A is the answer or B is the answer?
Because B is saying that to focus solely on the quality policy of the organization.
Yeah,
Whereas there's also a legal requirement also that you need
yeah.
to focus
And
on.
what if the quality policy is outdated or not at all there, right?
Yeah.
So how would you ensure that organization is compliant? Or the question is, what are the key areas you should focus during your investigation, right? So you must be comparing this with what you have as a standard in your hand, right? You must be having some thing to compare the organization, right? You are here with a checklist. Okay, are you compliant with this? Are you compliant with this? So you are doing the
Yes.
audit or investigation, then you bring some standard with you, right?
Yes.
So that should be A, right?
Yes. A is the right one.
Correct. Hmm. As part of managing compliance risks, you should track and manage these risks proactively. What should you include in your compliance risk register? Only the identified risk and their impact. B, the identified risk, a responsible owner, an impact of the realized risk, and the risk response. All four things, right? General risk
Mm.
description and the specific owners or a list of risks without any planned responses. So D cannot be an answer, right?
Yeah. Eliminated.
And the comprehensive answer is there, right? You can spot on.
Yes. I'm looking at B as the answer, but I'm looking at other option as well. General risk
What do we say
description.
for any risk that we identify? We should have an owner, correct? Who
Yes.
owns it? And we should have a mitigation plan that are we going to accept it, reject it, avoid it? I mean, rejection is not a plan, but can we avoid it? Can we reduce the impact? Can we reduce the probability? Can we mitigate it? Can we, uh, what can we say? Transfer it, or shall we accept it? That's our strategy around it, right? That's our response around it, right? And also, each risk has an impact, or that we may get hurt financially, or we may get hurt actually physically, or we may get hurt in terms of budget, in terms of time. So, what is your answer?
So B is
B is the answer?
yes.
Makes sense. In a large organization with a dedicated compliance department, you need to treat compliance as project objective. What steps you should take to ensure compliance is effectively managed? One, track and manage compliance risk proactively, perform quality audits, and continually validate legal and regulatory compliance for deliverables. Two, only check compliance at the end. Three, assume the compliance department will handle everything without your involvement. Four, address compliance issues only if stakeholder raise any concern. What do you think the answer is?
The answer is A.
Yeah, A is the answer. True. Great job. We are doing well. Let's go back. I think we have covered. Uh, okay, so let's do few more rounds and we are done. Redo it on the following, but one by one. Okay. All done. Actually, no need for compliance now. Let's go and do some practice of the previous domain, which was governance. And here you go. Project governance. Okay. What else? Project governance. Okay. What are the components? Do you understand what we are doing today?
Yes, yes, I
Do you like
understand.
it?
Yes,
How is your preparation? Is it going good now?
yes, it's been good.
You would be able to answer questions like this, right? You will be able to remember what you learned.
Hmm.
Let's ask you questions. You are managing a project in a financial institution. Okay. that is highly regulated. To ensure compliance, you need to incorporate several best practices. Which of the following best practice should you implement to manage compliance effectively? Document compliance, prioritize compliance, establish a compliance council, conduct formal audit, take personal professional responsibility of the compliance. B, focus only on the documenting and risk planning, assume other aspects will be managed on their own. C, rely on the project team to manage compliance without formal audits. D, ignore compliance. That's not a strategy. So, what should be the answer, Kamar?
A should be the answer.
Makes sense. Correct. We said document, prioritize, establish compliance audit, and take responsibility for compliance from top to bottom. Well, you are tasked with establishing a project governance board for your new initiative in your organization. You need to ensure the governance framework supports project management activities effectively. Which of the following is a key benefit of implementing a project governance framework? A, it allows for flexible and ad hoc decision making by project team. 2, it offers a single point of accountability and encompasses the project lifecycle. 3, it eliminates the need for stakeholder engagement and communication. 4, it focuses only on the budget management outside without considering other areas. A proper project governance board or governance structure will ensure what? What will be the benefit of it? What do you think, Abel? Governance provide support, right? At the key decision points, governance make sure that you are not alone when you need their support. Remember?
Hmm. Uh, I'm looking at the A and B, so C and D is eliminated. I'm looking at A and B to choose the best option.
Okay, so I give you some context of the governance. Look, you have a project team and then you have a project manager, right? Who is the leader of this project team? Now, the project manager, he has some people above him as well, right? Like PMO department, like a program manager, like the steering committee of the project, like senior VPs, like other functional heads, director PMO, and even the board, you know, above the steering committee, there is a board also, right? So
Hmm.
let's say it's a strategic project and you are the project manager. So you need to keep the project status report ready for your steering committee, including key risks, highlight key achievements, key deliverables, key phases. What are the status of these phases? This is some high level report that you give to steering committee. Now, this is your escalation to steering committee if you need some support. Now, for example, steering committee also need to present some status to this for this strategic initiative to the board. So they will also prepare one slide to present to the board. So these are the layers of the governance structure, right? People who are seriously asking about you about the project, where it is right now, because they have a stake in the project, right? So that's a governance structure. Now you got the idea of the governance structure, right?
Hmm.
Abel,
So yes, yes, sir, I'm here.
okay, what should be the answer then?
Um, I'll go with option A.
What should be the answer, Kamar?
See, the answer Why not D, C, B actually? D is only focusing on the budget management without considering the other area. So it cannot be the project governance side. So eliminate the need of stakeholder engagement. So it cannot also be considered as a governance one framework. So it offers a single point of accountability and encompasses the project life cycle. That single point of accountability, I don't agree with this point actually. So that's why I will go with A as well.
Okay.
So A will be the answer, hopefully.
A is not the answer.
So can you
B is
ask
the
for the
answer.
reason?
Okay.
So can you ask for the reason?
Yeah. See, everyone is not accountable. People are responsible for the work. Some people are accountable for the work, right? So who are ensuring that work happens are the leaders, right? So if they need to ensure that in their presence every risk is mitigated, every escalation is addressed, every bottleneck is resolved. So they provide single point of accountability, right? Because team is very much there to get the activities done and they are responsible for those activities. But if they get stuck, then who is accountable that the work should not stop is the governance structure, whichever it is. Maybe it is still the PMO level, maybe it is still the CEO board level. We don't know. But any governance structure should ensure accountability, right?
Hmm.
Right,
Makes sense.
absolutely right.
All right. You want to read, Kamar?
Yes, sure.
Please read.
You are establishing governance for a critical project that requires managing internal and external changes effectively. The project must also adhere to strict budget oversight. How should you approach project governance to balance stakeholder engagement and accountability? Implement strict governance with detailed processes to ensure all aspects are tightly controlled. Establish governance that is aligned with organizational policies and consider project strategic importance, constraints, and oversight requirements. Avoid too much governance to prevent annoying stakeholder, even if it means less accountability. Focus governance only on budget management oversight and ignoring other projects. I think the B will be the answer because it is also aligning with the
Valeri, what should
government
be the
policies,
answer?
corporate policies, and other things.
What do you think, Valeri? Agree? B is the answer? Valeri is not maybe on mute.
Already came.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, tell me your answer.
Okay, but the point is I'm using phone and my screen is not that much visible. Okay, question
Okay.
3, yeah? You establish a governance for critical project that requires managing internal and external change execute effectively. The project must also adhere to strict budget oversight. Question: how should you approach project governance to balance stakeholder engagement and accountability? One, implement strict governance with detailed process to ensure all aspects are tightly controlled. B, establish governance that is aligned with organization policy and consider the project strategy important consideration that you see, avoid too much governance or focus governance only on budget management oversight. I think B.
Only budget? Habibi,
No,
you think D is the answer or D is not the answer?
B is the answer.
B for ball. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abel, you agree?
Yes, agreed.
Okay, cool, guys. You are right. Okay, I will read this. You are leading a project where PMO has established comprehensive governance guidelines. These guidelines include change management, communication, documentation, decision making, and risk and issue management. Everything is covered. Which of the following components should be included in your project governance to ensure alignment is there with the organizational strategy? Okay, good. You should only focus on the change management. B, include processes for change management, communication, documentation, decision making. I think this is the answer is already there in the question. Rely on
Yeah.
information processes and team discretion. Focus on internal stakeholder alignment, ignoring external. I think this question we should just pass on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your first
Yeah.
one because D is the
B is
answer.
the answer, yeah. You are managing an adaptive project using iterative approach. Very good, like Scrum. Effective governance is crucial for monitoring project status, ensuring value is produced. What governance practices should you implement to ensure clear project status and value based on the outputs? One, conduct weekly status meeting without any specific iteration or sprint expectation. Two, document outputs and expectations. Provide a clear view of project status through defined iterations, expectations, and outputs, and use real time monitoring through daily stand ups. Three, rely solely on final deliverable review without intermediate checks. And D, or four, focus on the long term planning without adjusting to real time feedback. Well, it is an iterative approach. The project is following Scrum methodology. The governance is ensured that we have continuous feedback, we have, right? So, what should be the answer? Kamar. Anyone?
Um,
Actually, based on the option, so B option is written in more detail. So I will go with Akkad Bakkad Bombay Bo with B option.
Yes, you're right. So, the Scrum framework ensures the governance is there on various touch points. Daily, you meet for 5, 10 minutes or 15 minutes for the daily stand up. Then you have sprint plannings, you have like iteration planning, then you have iteration review. So you have various governance touch points, right?
Yes.
So all agree B is the answer?
yes, agreed.
Okay. You are involved in the project that uses governance board, also known as project board or a steering committee. This board provides oversight and guidance to the project. guidance for the project decisions. What role does the governance board typically play in project? It focuses on financial. It provides an oversight, includes stakeholders like sponsor, senior manager, and review the key deliverables while provide guidance. It interferes with the project team daily activities. It is involved in the project during initiation. So what should be the answer?
B, because it is written more in lines and in text as well. Because it is bigger than other option as well.
So always a bigger, lengthy answer is the answer because it is well written, well crafted.
Yeah, because only the well explained answer to be chosen actually.
Okay, now we know B is the answer, which is well explained, looks like from the. This is a good cheat code for the chat GPT. In
No,
your
actually,
project.
in terms of logics as well. You see, normally maybe sometime we even don't know the exact definition, like what will be the definition. Sometimes the small things suddenly wiped out from our mind. So easy definition sometimes we are unable to remember.
Yeah.
So the best approach is the logic. So where our more area or risk is being covered under which option, that option we should select it. This is just my thought actually.
Yeah.
Instead of just going to any option where risk is minimized and control is more, so that answer we need to select.
So if you just go back and think, the idea of these questions is not to make difficult question. The idea is you understand the context. That's it.
Exactly.
It's just one paragraph which you could have read it, but in the way of question, you will remember it. So the idea is to actually tell you the definition so that you remember it. Right, Valeri? I don't hear you, Valeri. But your voice is very faint. But yeah, if you understand, the idea is that we want to comprehend what we studied. Okay. All right. In your project, you need to define escalation procedure for your issues and that exceeds the project threshold or tolerance level. Okay. What is the best approach to handle issues that are outside your project's threshold? You should resolve all the issues within your team, regardless of their severity, or you should escalate issues to the responsible stakeholders authorized to take an action when they exceed your threshold, or you should escalate all the issues immediately to sponsor, or you should ignore minor issues and only address major issues at the end of the project. At the end of the project does not make sense, right? Because lost is lost, gone is gone, right? So D doesn't make sense, correct?
Yes.
C is escalate issues immediately to the sponsor. So you do not use your brain. You do not try to brainstorm with the team, or do not let them handle the issues on their own. You are just escalating everything to the sponsor. Then what sponsor will think that what you are doing, just passing me the problems. However, if you escalate issues to the responsible stakeholders when and only when they exceed your threshold, like you are not able to handle within your team, then you escalate. This makes sense, right? Agree?
Agree.
Huh, guys? You want to sleep today? Or you want to continue?
It's getting late here. Almost 11 o'clock.
You want to sleep? No problem. Kamar, you want to stay or you want to sleep? Kamar already slept.
Yes, no. I'm available. It's depend on your energy and
No. I can continue with you, Kamar. So if you want to stay, Abel, Valerie, stay. Otherwise, you guys watch the video later. Okay?
Okay, okay.
Okay. So we will continue for another half an hour. Let's create some more fun. Ah, I forgot the picture fun. Redo it for the following, but one. Okay. Let's take a picture of it. Snapshot. Yeah, you've done a snapshot. Snapshot. क्या कहते हैं, तरीका ठीक है ना कमर? आपकी एक तरह से रिवीजन भी हो रही है और यादाश्त भी ताज़ा हो रही है।
नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है जी, हर तरीका ठीक है जी, जो चल जाए।
हम बंद कर देते हैं लाइव, ठीक है?
मैं कहता हूँ बेहतरीन, ताकि पब्लिक को गलत मैसेज ना